Hello, this is Lisa, and this is my video reflection on Amy Cuddy's TED Talk, Your Body Language May Shape Who You Are. She mostly talked about the science part of it, which makes sense. She talked about, they had experiments where they brought people in, and they had them sit in what she called power poses for a length of time. It was 5 minutes, I think, somewhere about that. And then they had to go through a fake job interview. And some other things too, but she talked about the job interviews in her TED Talk. So that's what I know about. She also discussed how she also had people sit in scrunched up kind of poses. Stuff like that, talked about how that made them less confident in their job interviews, and then she described how the judges for the interviews picked the people who had sat in confident poses beforehand, who had acted confident, and she talked about how your body language, they say fake it till you make it. She talked about fake it till you become it. I don't know how much I agree with that sentiment. I think it's fake it till you make it, but it is a nice thing to think about. I think, right after watching this TED Talk, I had to give a presentation in English. So, I did the thing. I tried to sit confidently, openly, got nothing to be nervous about, no reason to be all scrunched up and terrified. I tried to sit like that, I keep trying to look up. I tried to sit like that, and, I don't know if it worked in making me feel more confident, per se, but it gave me something different to think about. It gave me, I couldn't, the stress was there, but I think it was less because I kept distracted. I kept pulling myself away. It didn't reinforce because I kept thinking about, no, Lisa, you gotta relax. You gotta sit open. You gotta act confident, And instead of just being scrunched up, being like, oh heck, I'm next, oh heck, what am I gonna do? This is terrifying, And I think that's a huge part of why that works, because it gives you something completely different to think about that makes you not just going through an endless cycle of fear, and then your body language for that cycle of fear, when you're going through that anxiety thing, your body language reflects that you're being scared. I don't know that it has, and when you're sitting in the scrunched up poses, you don't have to keep distracting yourself. You don't have to keep reminding yourself to sit open and wide open for everyone to see what you're doing, You don't have to remind yourself to sit like that, because you don't have to remind yourself to sit all scrunched up, because you're doing that automatically, because that's how you feel. And it's a mental cycle that doesn't stop being a thing, if that makes sense. It keeps going, and you just keep sitting there and being scared, and you don't have to think about sitting there and acting scared because you are scared. Meanwhile, if you're trying to sit open, you gotta think about sitting open. You gotta think about sitting with your legs uncrossed. I keep shifting around. You can't see it, but I'm like mimicking the body positions versus, like, I don't know. That's what I was doing, if you're wondering why the camera keeps moving. But yeah, I think it's a cycle that reinforces when you have nothing else to think about, which you usually don't if you're waiting for a job interview or a presentation or whatever, or an audition or whatever, because all you have to think about is whatever it is that you're waiting to happen. And the body language thing works because it gives you something different to think about. It gives you a way to distract yourself and not think about whatever terrifying thing it is you have coming up. So, yeah, that's my interpretation of that. I have no evidence whatsoever to back it up, aside from my own personal experience, which I am one singular person who is not naturally very anxious at all. So take it with a grain of salt.